There we go.
Hi everyone.
Hello. What's weird? I already have it popped out over here. Aw. Oh. Oh, that's cool. Good morning, good morning. Finally get rid of the brats. They're on the bus.
They just don't like to get up in the morning.
They don't like to be nice.
I don't think anybody in our family likes to get up in the morning, except for maybe you.
I like getting up in the morning. It's a lot nicer when you can get up and it's light out, though. Hopefully the noise of the heat being on isn't too terrible. So how is everyone doing this morning? Thanks for joining us as I mess around with the camera here. Yeah. Hopefully the camera and the audio and the latency or lag or whatever isn't too bad. It's a little chilly here. In East Tennessee it's a little cold. Not as cold as what we would normally be used to, I suppose, but I guess this would actually be somewhat normal for New England, where we came from. But I'm an early riser, Three Feathers Farmstead. Good morning. I'm an early riser. My alone time before work. Yeah, it's actually kind of works out nice that it's a little bit dark in the morning, because it's like we can't really go out and do a whole lot right now, so it kind of gives us a little time to wake up and have some coffee. So what time do you head off to work? Yeah, it's definitely nice having some time before you head off to work to kind of wake up a little bit.
Work could be the farmstead.
That could be. That's true too.
She wants to get through, but she can't because of the heater.
Come on. Sorry, I'm letting the dog by the heater.
She's got a lot of anxiety.
She's a rescue that came to us with a lot of anxiety.
And it's a hit or miss. She neither likes Mike or she doesn't.
Can't really blame her.
So we have the cats in the camper tonight, well, from last night. So we have lots of animals in the camper today.
He says around 8:30 after morning chores. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so yesterday the cats all got snipped, so we don't have any more cats because 3's good enough. 3 kids, 2 dogs, 3 cats, 5 pigs, and 7 chickens. That's good enough for us for now. We would definitely like to do more as far as animals go. We talked about getting cows, and Emma wants horses. So it would definitely be cool to do that, I think, at some point. But I don't know, it's kind of nice just not going too big right now, because we got, hopefully the mobile home will be delivered, not likely this week, but more likely it will be delivered next week. The site's pretty much ready. I have to, now that we get this new mobile home mover company, because we got, hopefully the mobile home will be delivered. So it sounds like the audio is a little bit too much. So when it goes into the red like that, I think that means it's... Let's see, is that any better? Testing. Oh. Sounds like the audio is a little bit too much. Trying to see if that's any better.
So the farmstead has 2 dogs, 4 cats, and 15 chickens.
Oh wow.
I think the most chickens we had was like
better.
50. Do we have 50 chickens?
Yeah, we had pretty close to it, 45 or 50 chickens at one point. And that was fine. It actually was great. I liked it.
It worked out great.
Yeah. Um, I think that was the year I broke my leg the
It
first
was.
time.
So we had a bear come into the chicken coop and just wiped it out. I think we ended up with, 10 left after that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably about right. So we probably had about 45-ish or so chickens. And the first night they came through, and I think they killed about 15 or 20 of them. Then they came back through the next night, and it's about the same thing. And so we probably had about 10 or so left when all was said and done.
We gave some away too.
Yeah, so the tough part was the fact that the bears came through and did that right after I broke my leg. So then I couldn't do a whole lot.
Just had 6 hatch about 11 weeks ago.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we like to incubate our eggs.
Do you incubate, or were your chickens were they laying on them? So have we ever had
We haven't had success with them.
hatching them?
Yeah.
For some reason I thought we had, but it would be kind of cool if
Maybe this bunch will.
they could hatch theirs. Yeah, the ones that we have now, we incubated and hatched ourselves. Three Feathers says, "Oh man, that's not good. Been fortunate not to have them come through here often. It doesn't seem like there's as many. I mean, maybe just because we're not literally in the mountains. Where we were before. I think we had more hills and mountains.
Yeah.
Where we lived when we were in the woods up in New Hampshire before moving here earlier this year. It was similar to this area, except more similar to like the area that's closer to the mountains. Where we're at, we're not far from the mountains. You can actually see them when you're driving around, but we're not right in them, so there's not really much for mountains here. But there were actually mountains pretty much right in the towns we were living in there, Kearsarge and Sunapee. So we were surrounded by mountains, and then we lived on a higher elevation, which was kind of pretty much the side of a mountain. It was more like what we called a hill, really, compared to the mountains, but it was wooded and cool, and so we had a lot of black bear in our area, and they usually weren't too much of a problem until about this time every year, when they would get desperate for food, because normally they wouldn't go through killing animals. They would typically forage on berries and nuts and things like that, acorns and all that. But when all that food depleted and it still wasn't cold enough for them to hibernate, then we'd go out and they would flip our dumpster over and try to kill the chickens and things like that.
You could literally see them walking down the road. The bears.
Yeah, you'd be driving down the road and they'd be crossing the street. So Three Feathers says, got a rooster for Father's Day this year, and had a hen go broody a few weeks later, 6 hatched.
That's cool.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. He said, we are not far from you. We're in North Georgia in the mountains. That's awesome. Yeah, we have a friend we met from YouTube who had followed our channel. I haven't seen him in a little bit. I've messaged him, I think, through we were texting once, but he's down in Georgia. I think he's like a little bit north of Savannah. So I think he's
Chris?
Yeah, I think he's on I think that's more the eastern part of Georgia, because we stopped at his place one time on our way to Florida to meet him. He said originally from upstate New York in the Adirondacks. Oh, that's cool. How long have you been in Georgia? So me and the boys just moved here in February to live here.
I got here in July.
Stacey and Emma came down for February school vacation while we were here, and then was it March?
We came down in April too.
April. So February, April, and then finally came down for the permanent move in first week of July.
But
July
you guys,
3rd.
Yeah, you guys came. So the months that I didn't come down here, you guys came to New Hampshire. So you guys came to New Hampshire for March and then May.
Yep.
So we did go. I mean, we didn't go any months without seeing each other. Sometimes
Right.
it seemed like it. But
Well, let's see. The last time we came up was what, May?
yeah. Oh,
But-
so I guess we went June.
So it was like 2 months almost,
Yeah.
which was weird.
No,
I
it was a
think-
month and a like, because it was the end of May. It's Memorial Day when you guys came.
So it was like a month and a half.
Yeah.
But I think that's the longest. I don't think. I almost think that's the longest we went without seeing each other since we met
Probably.
21 years ago. That's crazy. Three Feathers says 5 years. We're right by the Tennessee, Georgia, North Carolina. Oh, cool. That seems like a good spot too.
So I was thinking.
Must be very mountainous right there. You must be right in it, right in the mountains there. I'd like to come down and see more of the mountains, kind of get up in the mountains and check it out, because we're pretty used to the mountains. We still have property up in the White Mountains up in New Hampshire, and then of course, I don't know I'm sure everyone doesn't know, but New Hampshire, especially once you get north of the capital, north of Concord, it starts to get a lot more hilly and mountainous, and you start getting a lot of lakes and wildlife, and you have lesser population once you get north of.
Lots of moose.
Yeah, moose, a lot of moose, black bear, coyotes, foxes, and then pretty much every other wildlife you can pretty much come up with. Bobcats. We don't have. They claim there's no mountain lions up there, but they have. A lot of people say they've seen them. There's not really much to talk about for snakes. I think it's just the colder climate. Same thing with spiders. It's not like a huge thing up there. Snakes and spiders aren't really a big thing. The most dangerous thing that's up there probably would be moose.
Yeah. They'll leave you alone if you leave them alone.
If you try to get close to them, they may charge you, and they could certainly kill you in one shot. But that doesn't typically happen. I don't ever even really remember reading about that happening on the news at all. And bear, even though a lot of people would think they're dangerous,
They're just more of a nuisance.
they'll get into your stuff, but as soon as they see a person, they'll either stay far away, and if you make too many sudden moves, they'll just run off. So you can typically scare them away just by yelling and raising your hands and all that. But around here, I don't know. Everyone, our whole family has all seen snakes. I still haven't, which is kind of weird. But they've all seen a rat snake. There was the boys saw, I think, a black snake. But it's mostly been the rat snakes, I think, is what they've been seeing.
The ones, well, I guess I've seen a snake twice. It's just, I think it was the same snake both times. I took a picture of it, so Michael told me what it was.
That was a rat snake, yep. So, it's funny, I'm the only one who hasn't seen any snakes around here, but I've been doing a lot of research. I'm the one who's been doing a lot of research on the different types of snakes that are in the area, so.
This one was pretty, it was blue.
I just want to kind of know what I'm looking at when I see them, because, if you happen to run into one, I kind of would rather know I mean, either way, I'm staying away from them. I'm not like a big fan of snakes. It's one of those things that, I'm not really afraid of them. I just don't want to test it. I don't want to find out the hard way. Because I've been bitten by enough things, it doesn't really bother me so much. But it's more or less like the long-term effect of what could happen if you get bit by a venomous spider or snake, and then any sort of like paralysis or sickness or whatever comes out of that happening. I don't really want to deal with, especially kind of being the one who's doing a lot of the kind of developing of our homestead around here. I don't want to be down, because that would just be bad. I've already had that happen once this year, breaking my leg and not being able to walk for a few months, and don't need any more of that. So
be careful.
So I have a couple of videos that I need to edit. I'm probably going to work on them today. I've been wanting to work on them the last couple days, but it's been a rough few days. I've been working out on a job on Viking Mountain for a couple and their kids. They actually live out of state in South Carolina, and they have property here on the mountain that they just got this year that they're working on developing. And so I've been up there doing some light excavation work and putting in a fence along the front of their property. And it's just been one thing after another. So last time we talked on the live stream, who are you waving at?
I was waving goodbye to the 3-feather guy or girl.
Oh, 3 feathers. Nice chatting with y'all this morning. Going to bundle up and go feed the chickens and then feed myself. All right. Have a good day. Good morning. Thanks for stopping by, and hopefully we'll see you next time. We'll be back on Saturday night for another live stream, and hopefully put a video out between now and then. So, you were gonna say? What was I talking about?
Viking Mountain. Yeah.
This early in the morning, I pretty much forget what I'm talking about when I get interrupted. So I'm glad she's there because she can remind me. Yeah, so I'm putting fencing in up there, which up in the mountain I had to dig through a lot of rock with the excavator to get those holes in, and so it's been a chore. But last weekend, if anyone was on the last live stream or watched it, you know that I tipped my excavator over here on my property, trying to help somebody else out, and that was a disaster. Oh, hang on while we adjust. Wait, don't we have like... Here.
It's a little chilly this morning. Anyways.
She's not shy about just ripping the blankets right off me when it's cold. What was I saying?
The excavator flipping over.
Tipped the excavator over last weekend, and then so been have a local friend here who's helping me get that fixed, which is great because I don't know what I would do. It's just things are getting expensive, and when you have a lot of things that keep coming up unexpectedly, we've put a lot of money into repairs on our vehicles, mostly my trucks here, and then the excavator tipping and having to put money into that. It's just becoming a challenge because our main goal coming here was to try to reduce our monthly expenses, which we've done quite a bit. It's just unfortunately a lot of these unfortunate unexpected things just keep happening, and it's not helping our situation. So breaking my leg was one of them, and now I have a monthly payment to the hospital I have to make for 2 straight years. So that's increased our monthly expenses, which is just by 10%, which is just ridiculous, but whatever. And the excavator damage, I've had all sorts of repairs to my trucks, have had issues with contractors, which has cost us money. So it's just been, it's been a challenge. So then with the excavator, it's just been another challenge and expensive, as you can expect. So luckily I got a friend here who we met, who's just been
Amazing.
Yeah, I can't even. So, he's been helping out a lot, which is great, and I definitely will be over there helping him as soon as he needs me and is ready for me. But we have plans to do things to help him out, digging and building and all sorts of whatever. So I'm looking forward to helping him out since he's been helping us out. So then after that, we were over there working on the fence,
Saturday.
and then I'm sorry, what?
Saturday.
What about Saturday?
Oh, I thought you were going to tell them about the truck.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Go ahead.
Alright, but
You seem eager to tell him, so you.
I'll tell them about the truck, but you have to elaborate more.
Whenever I stop to let you talk and ask you questions, you don't want to, and then when I'm talking, you want to talk over me. So
I'm sorry.
don't be sorry. Just go ahead and say
Alright,
what you wanted to say.
So on Saturday, they were
Gives me
working
a
there.
chance to drink my coffee.
They were pulling an excavator that they had rented. I'm guessing to get the rocks out. So while they were pulling the excavator on the trailer, the brakes on the truck went. So luckily, it's all good now. They didn't get hurt, you know.
Was that Saturday?
Yeah, that was Saturday because you called me Saturday to come get you.
Oh, that was Saturday.
Sunday, I don't think you had any events.
Yeah, so last weekend after the excavator issue, we rented another excavator that weekend, different from the one we rented this past weekend. And I had a friend help me tow that, and unfortunately it got, yeah, I saw that, you don't have to tell me. I know you're just going to jump in there, you get all fired up. What was I saying? You're killing me. You're killing me.
It's a truck in the
So last weekend I rented an excavator. We went to tow it, and a friend was helping, and I had asked him, you know, hey, did you check the, you know, landing gear and the hitch and all that stuff on the trailer before we, you know, started taking off? And he's like, yeah. And we weren't even out of the yard yet. So he starts driving down the yard, and it was just like hard to pull the trailer, which was weird because we're going downhill, and then once we got to the driveway, you could hear a lot of noise. That's not plugged in.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was. Laptop's gonna die if we don't do something here in a second. Hey, good morning, Grizz. How's it going? It's early there for you, huh?
Gosh.
It was about 4:30-ish, almost. So yeah, I'd asked him if he checked everything. He said he was certain he checked everything, and I told him, I said, okay, I usually check, even though when somebody else is towing stuff for me, I usually check anyways because it's my equipment and I want to make sure nothing goes wrong. So he didn't check everything. He thought he had, and then the jack for the trailer was still down and got caught in the ground and bent the front part of the frame and bent the jack, and the whole thing went because I was like, man, something's dragging. And we got out and looked at it, and I looked at it and I'm thinking, it's a brand new trailer too. And I'm like, it was the day before that I was using my excavator helping him do something and tipped my excavator over, damaged it, had to pay a $350 recovery bill for them to come over and flip it back over, and now probably another $1,000 in repairs. And then, you know, so I was doing that while I was helping. That all happened while I was trying to help him, and then so the next day he was trying to help me out, so I can get out to this job and at least make the money back to make the repairs to the damage I did while I was helping him. And then while he was trying to help me do that, he caused damage to my trailer. So at that point I was like, let me just get this work done, and I'm just going to go back to doing things by myself, because I just felt like, alright, I'm getting involved with other people and I'm not a good people person. I mean, I am, but
To a point.
I like doing things myself, and especially when things start going wrong. It was like a video I was watching I brought this channel up a few times the last couple of live streams, but Little House Off Grid, one of the things he said is, like, he says when you're on your own property and you don't go anywhere and you're doing your own thing, you typically have far less problems than once you start getting involved with other people. He says typically when other people are start to get involved in your life, or you're involved with other people, is when you tend to have more problems. And so that really clicked, because that video he talked about that stuff that came out over this past week, and it was just like, yeah, that makes sense. So this past week I kind of went out and tried to get everything done myself, but it was actually other people that caused this problem anyway. It's just it took a while for it to show its ugly face. So the truck, while I was towing the excavator this past Saturday up to the mountain, I was just pushing down on the brake pedal and it was going right to the floor. I was able to stop when I needed to, but it wasn't stopping hard like it normally would, and I thought something doesn't seem right here. So once we get up to the mountain and I unload the excavator, I'm looking at the truck and I didn't see anything right off the bat. I didn't look very hard, but I checked the brake fluid at a gas station and it looked like there was plenty of brake fluid in there. But once I get up to the mountain, I called my friend, or actually on my way there, and said, something seems kind of weird about the brakes. Is there something I should check or whatever? So ultimately he ended up coming up to the mountain, because I said, I could just drive the truck to you, and he says, before you go driving down the mountain with a truck that has brakes that don't work so good, let me come up there and check. And which this is what I'm talking about, where he's been incredibly helpful and like beyond what I would expect anyone to do. I actually, to the point where I kind of feel bad taking him away from, I'm sure he's got plenty to do, but he seems to really enjoy it, so that's a good thing. But I am like very grateful. He came up to the mountain and looked at the truck and noticed that the brakes were leaking all around one of the tires. So without getting into it too crazy, basically he took the tire off, took the caliper off, and took the rotor off, and the back side of the rotor had completely worn and completely fallen off. The back, there's two sides where it's like a 1/4, 3/8 inch thick steel plate that the brake pad rubs on. The back side was completely gone. The brake pads were completely gone. The caliper was completely destroyed, and it was just blowing brake fluid out of the caliper. And the caliper, you could actually see there was like a lot of wear on not on like the inside of the caliper where you would expect, but like it looked like the wheel rim or something was rubbing on the outside of the caliper. And on this truck, it's a 1-ton diesel dually, and the rotors and calipers are huge. So you can see where the rim had been rubbing on it, and or it looked like something had been rubbing on it. And he thought, okay, well maybe if the brake rotor came apart and got caught behind there, that's what was rubbing on it. But once we got so he came back with the parts, the brake pads and the rotor, and once we went putting things back together, he went and put the tire and the rim back on, and he went to turn it as he was tightening it, and he says, man, this isn't sitting on there right. And I wouldn't have noticed this, because to me it's not something I guess, he looks at it these things every day, and he's like, it's not sitting on there right, and when I try to turn the tire, it's like catching or something. So he pulls it all off and he looks at it, he says, it's rubbing on the caliper, this rim isn't right. And so being a dually, there's apparently on this truck, and I don't know if it's the same for all of them, but there's an inner and there's an outer rim. Well, the last person who worked on the truck, hence got involved with other people who tried to help me, and the ironic thing is they worked at a Chevy dealership, and this was a Chevy truck, but they put the rims on wrong. And so we got lucky, because we drove 1,000 miles from New Hampshire to here since then with that truck. He put the rims on wrong, and the rim was rubbing on the caliper all the way down, and since we've been down here, and eventually destroyed the caliper and the brake pads and the rotor and all of that, again costing us a lot of money to repair this, and unfortunately we paid them a lot of money to fix it for us in the first place. But when I had asked him about a couple other things before that, he didn't really seem to care too much, so I didn't even bother calling him about it. But so my friend here locally helped me get it all put back together. We discovered the issue, or he discovered the issue. We put the rims all on correctly in the right place, in the right order, and now it's working great. That truck has been, ever since he's been helping us with that truck, it's gone from being a dog that would break down regularly to a truck that, you know, could pull a house, which ironically we need somebody to pull a house for us. But
yeah, you let Ryan drive it the other day, right?
Yeah, so Ryan drove it home from the mountain, and it drove great, stopped great. It's got lots of power, it can stop. So really happy with it. But at the same time that happened, we also got a flat tire on our brand new tractor. Working up on that property, we must have run over something and got a flat tire. So we're sitting there, there's my truck with all the tires pulled off of it and the rotor and everything all taken apart, and the tractor parked right behind it with a flat tire sitting on the ground. I'm just looking at this like, really? Like, and that was like, you know, the weekend before with my trailer getting damaged and the excavator tipping over and having trouble with getting the mobile home moved and people kind of screwing us on that. I'm just like, this has been a heck of a week.
But the tractor the tractor tire got fixed. The people who fixed it were amazing, so it all worked out in the long run.
Yeah, so Stacey came up to the mountain, was it twice that same day?
Yeah.
Or she came up Saturday to pick us up, and then Sunday she met me out somewhere with some tools that I had forgot to bring with me. Then she came back out to the mountain to help. Oh, she brought some stuff to help me try to set the bead of the tire on the tractor because it came off, which didn't work. So then she took the tire to a couple different repair places and found a place that could repair the tractor tire, repaired it, brought it back to us, and we put it on, and while we were working on the truck. And so then Ryan was there helping, and our friend was there, so it was a pretty big team effort. But pretty much spent the entire day Monday just working on the truck and the tractor and getting everything back home. So that wasn't supposed to be how we were supposed to spend our Monday. It was supposed to be getting a lot of things done that we're behind on at this point. So this week what I'm working on is, today I am going to get my blade sharpening set up in the barn so I can get back to sharpening, because I have 2 orders of blades here that people are waiting to have sharpened, and I have another order coming today, this afternoon. So I got to get that done. I have somebody who's been waiting on me to finish up building a chicken coop for them, and it's just about done, so hopefully we'll be able to get that finished today, get the siding and the roofing on it. And I didn't do a video on the initial building of it because I had somebody here helping me with that, but I plan on finishing it up just myself, or me and Ryan.
Right.
So maybe I'll just do a little video on where we're at with it so far, because you can see it's just all framed and we put wheels on it. So I can do a video on showing how we framed it up, and then kind of finishing up with the siding, building the door, putting the roofing on. Yeah. Oh, so let me get to the chat. Let's see. Grizz says, yeah, I just woke up and ain't even brewed my coffee yet. Sounds like he is out destroying the excavator competition. Yeah, out to destroy the excavator competition. Yep. Yeah, it's been an interesting week, but we're gonna keep chugging along, and hopefully things
will get better. It's gonna be beautiful weather this weekend.
Yeah, I think today. So yesterday was like in the 40s, which is unusually cold for here this time of year. And of course it would be, because we just moved here,
of course,
from New Hampshire, and it was actually warmer in New Hampshire yesterday than it was here. So, but it figures. It's been an interesting week. It's just everything going on, and then the weather's colder than it's supposed to be. Then we just had the cats neutered yesterday, and once that's done, they're supposed to be kept warm because the anesthesia their bodies can't keep themselves warm as well as they normally could, because that kind of hinders their ability to keep themselves warm. So we had to bring them into the camper overnight because it was so cold out.
They behave though.
So, but they're doing fine. They're in a kennel. They'll go back outside this afternoon when it gets warmer. But currently it's, you probably can't see it on the camera, but it's 35 degrees out here this morning, which is unusually cold for here this time of year from what people are telling us. And then of course in the summer, June and July, it was unusually hot and it was being 95, almost 100 degrees. So we got some high heat and now we're getting some low temperatures here. But like Stacey said, it's supposed to get warmer this week. It's going to be in the 50s today, which will be a lot better than yesterday when it was in the 40s. Tomorrow is going to be closer to 60, Friday closer to 70, and then by Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we're going to be in the mid 70s. Monday actually being 76, so
Wow.
and sunny. So we're going to be back into like kind of nice mid-summer temperatures, spring temperatures.
We have Saturday. We have an event for Emma. She has a cross-country meet, and it will be the last one of the year. So, thank goodness for warm weather.
Yeah, so Saturday we have to go to Knoxville to bring Emma to her state meet because her and her friends at her school qualified for the state cross-country meet, so that's awesome. So she's going to go down and do that. Hopefully I'll get to go with them. So today, like I was saying, I'm going to go get the blade sharpening set up in the barn. And I got to get those blades sharpened, which will probably just take me, between setting up the sharpener and sharpening all the blades I have, it'll probably take 2 or 3 hours to get all that set and done. Probably take a few hours to get the chink coop finished. And so those are my 2 primary goals for today, is to get those things done. Today's Wednesday, and Friday I have to go back up to the mountain and work more on that fence. And also on Monday, which will be nice because Friday will be almost 70 and Monday is going to be 75, almost, it's over 75 degrees out. So it'll be nice to be back outside those days. That's why I plan on going back Friday and Monday, and I want to kind of take the weekend to be here doing stuff. I've been spending a lot of time going out and doing work for other people, so it's kind of taken away from getting things done here that I need to get done. So today we're going to get the blades sharpened and the chicken coop done, hopefully without any problems, and then
Maybe Mike can buck up some wood for me.
oh yeah, and Stacey, so that's a good idea actually. We can get some more firewood done. We've been posting firewood for sale in the area, just kind of smaller amounts on the cheaper side, delivered, just to kind of help make a little bit extra money so we can pay the bills and stuff, because it's been a little crazy with the cost of repairs and everything. So since we got a whole bunch of wood here, and right now we're not able to heat with wood, so we're not burning through any. We probably won't be burning through any wood for at least another month anyway, because we still have to get the mobile home here before I can install a wood stove in it, and then I want to install a wood stove in the barn, but I'm not going to do that until the mezzanine is at least partially finished, and then I get a room and stuff built in there, because there's no sense in heating a 1,200 square foot metal building with no insulation in it, because it's really not going to hold any heat. So once I get a room done in there, I'll install the wood stove in there, and then we'll be able to heat some rooms in there. So it'll be nice to be able to heat with wood instead of burning all this propane and all this electricity, and that will help kind of reduce our overall cost. One of the things I've been doing a lot of research on, and I'm not going to get to building out for at least another month anyway, is a solar array, a solar power system for the house. We were looking at the cost of looking at the cost of running electric from the meter to the house, and just because of the high cost of materials right now, the wire and the conduit are so expensive that it would actually, I think, be more cost effective for us to build a solar power system for the house. Because for the house, I don't think we're going to really need more than maybe like a 5,000 watt inverter, because I don't see us using more than that at one time, especially since the barn has grid tied electricity. That's where our big fridge, our freezer is. That's where my, blade sharpening setup's going to be. All of my tools. So those are the things that use a lot of amps. The things in the house that's going to use a lot of amps is going to be the air conditioner. And then if we get a dryer that uses electricity, that would be the other thing.
You get a propane one or gas.
Refrigerator uses electricity. It's not a ton. I mean, it's not bad. So we can run that off of solar, and then we'll just have to strategically figure out where to put our panels. But it's a lot of work that's going to be put into that. A lot of research and thought to put into that before I pull the trigger on it. I'm very tempted to get some of the equipment now and start getting it here and setting it up, but I have a lot of things going on right now, so I need to try not to do too many things at once, which I tend to do, which I'm already doing right now. So to add more to that would just be a little nuts. But I'm very eager to get off of the propane heat from the camper and electric heaters and get into wood stove heat, just because it would be way more efficient. It's much nicer, drier heat, and it's just doesn't cost us hardly anything other than the fuel to run a chainsaw and a log splitter, pretty much.
Yeah, because most of the wood out there right now is you've gotten from jobs.
Yeah, probably more than half of the wood we have for heating right now has come from other places where I've went and did cleanup work, or people were just getting rid of logs, things like that. And I get a ton of logs, actually. Speaking of that, that's probably another thing I'll work on. I'll probably try to bring a load of logs back this weekend. It's tough because if I load my trailer up with logs, so right now with the excavator being down, if I load my trailer up with logs, when I get back to the property, usually I would unload it with the excavator and I'd be loading it on the other end with the tractor. But having only one machine, when I load it on the other end, I won't be able to unload it here. I can't bring the tractor back and logs at the same time with me, so that's a bit of a challenge, because the logs that I have to pick up are 10 to 16 feet long. The 10 footers I can put on the back of the 1 ton, because it's got a 12-foot dump bed, and I can easily pick them up and put them on that and dump them. But to get them off the trailer would be a challenge, getting these 16-foot logs off of there, and some of them are pretty big. So I got to figure out what we're gonna do there. I potentially could rent an excavator, but I don't know. That just wouldn't be very cost effective, because I'm trying to do things without spending too much. So, oh, there we go. Well, we lost everybody for a second there, it looks like.
Looks like we have 5 viewers.
Play the live here on here just so I can see when that happens. Sorry about that. Looks like we lost everybody for a minute. What?
Dump trailer.
Dump trailer. Yeah, so we got rid of the dump trailer. It was a 14-foot. We got a 12-foot dump bed on the 1 ton, so it made sense to just sell that, because right now dump trailers are selling for almost pretty close to double what they were selling for when I bought it. And it was a 2019, I think. So I had only bought it a few years ago, and I actually ended up selling it for more than I paid for it. And figure, well, the prices are up on things, and I don't really desperately need to keep the trailer at this time, and we more could use the money to put towards things that we're trying to get through. Figured it made more sense. The plan is, hopefully once we get the excavator fixed, that we'll sell that also, because we don't use that on a day-to-day basis anymore. I was using it a lot more when we were first kind of clearing spots for the sawmill and the pig pen, and when we were planning on building a house, and then getting the site prepped for the mobile home, and just doing some other things, pulling trees, clearing trails. but I think I can get by with just the tractor at this point, and our goal here is to try to minimize the amount of things that were invested in, especially things that depreciate. And although equipment lately over the past couple of years has appreciated in value, not just because they're actually increasing in value, but more or less because of the supply and demand issues. So the excavator is not gonna, it's never gonna be worth more than it is right now, so it's the best time to sell it, even though we just got it a few months ago, but we got our use out of it. In hindsight, I think I kind of wish I would have rented one to do the things I did here, because I think in the end it probably would have been either the same cost or even cheaper, and I wouldn't have had to worry about repairs and maintenance and that sort of stuff. So if you're not using an excavator on a regular basis and not using it to do work for other people, then it doesn't make sense to be highly invested in one. This one, I spent more on this one than I did on the one that I had in New Hampshire, but it's newer and I figured it'd be more reliable, which it has been, but unexpectedly tipping it over didn't help. But either way, in the long run, I think it would just make much more sense to rent a machine for the times here and there that it will need it, because what we have invested into it, we could rent an excavator probably 200 times, and it would cost us the same as owning one, and I'm not going to be renting an excavator 200 times.
Right.
So if I rent an excavator or any sort of machine once a month, that would be probably a lot. I don't think that's going to happen, and I can usually rent one for the whole weekend for so the one we bought was right about $50,000 for that excavator, and to rent one that we would normally use is less than $350 for a whole weekend. So we can rent one for 2 days.
For like 12 hours?
Yeah, that'll allow you to put 12 and a half hours on the machine for the whole weekend.
And you can bring it on your own trailer.
Right, and I can tow those excavators. So the other thing too is, like, sometimes when I go out and do jobs with these, when I go to do jobs, I rent an excavator because I can't haul mine because it's too heavy for my trailer. And I could go get a trailer that I could tow with the 1 ton, but that's just more investment, more maintenance, because now I'm going to have a trailer. It's going to be used because I can't go and afford to go out and buy a 15 or 16,000, 20,000 pound gooseneck trailer brand new, because that should just be a lot of money. I can't afford that. Even a used one would be tough, and then that's of course going to require maintenance, probably even right away, just because buying used stuff, that's what you get. So just cost effective long term, I think it just makes more sense to rent machines. So I'm kind of just, I guess, babbling about random things.
Who else is on?
Who else is on?
Really?
Hi.
Coffee.
Hello.
Really?
Hi. So I don't know if any of you guys have any questions. The chat's pretty quiet, but it's early in the morning, so that would probably make sense.
Well, there's 4. It says there's 4 people. Who knows if there really is or
Oh,
not.
one's me because I'm watching it from here. So, today get the sharpening in the chicken coop done. I need to get the oil change on my truck done. I need to mill wood for finishing up the mezzanine. So these are all things that we need to get done around here, either for ourselves or for others. Need to finish the sewer pipe and the water line for the new mobile home coming. Yeah,
That's not all getting done today.
Chris said I'm still trying to wake up. Yeah, me too. Need to drink more coffee.
No.
You have to talk so I can drink coffee too.
I got some pumpkin coffee from Walmart, and it's not bad. It was on like the clearance rack. donkeys.
I thought I would like the pumpkin. It's not my thing.
It's not. Who's?
Hey, Cornbread, how's it going? He says, I'm listening.
The pumpkin coffee is not something I would have on a regular basis. It's one of these things. Drink the bag and then be done with it.
I try to get low acid coffee, and the coffee so far that I've been really enjoying is Seattle's not connected.
The Seattle.
Sorry about that.
Oh yeah, the Seattle best you can get around here. It's just more expensive. It's cheaper to order it online.
So the internet is Starlink, and that satellite dish needs to get moved. It's sitting on the boys' camper right back here, next to the barn. It's in a spot where it's got an obstructed view. It's not terrible, so it's got fairly good visibility, but there is still some obstruction, which, of course, as you can imagine, is going to slow this connection down. So I think our connection will be a lot better once I get that mounted up on the barn. It would be cool to be able to work on that today, but I'll also have tomorrow to work on stuff here. So, but like I said, I'm hoping to get these lingering projects done. I had somebody contact me and ask me about the blades they dropped off a week and a half ago, so I really got to get those done. Just with all the things that have been going on, it kind of put me behind a little bit. So hopefully we'll get caught up on those things today. So we're getting this job done up there over this next week or so. I get the coop finishing up today and a few sawmill blade jobs working on today. So it'll be good to get some work done to hopefully help catch up on bills and things like that, because having all these expenses with repairs and not anything coming in, it's been a challenge. So,
but the blades you can always do. I mean, not to say that you want to stay up late, but you can always do the blades when it's dark out too, because there's
yeah, especially being here now, having the blade sharpening set up here instead of down at our shop, which is like 30 minutes from here. We got to go empty that too. I just realized.
Yeah.
We got to get that. We should work on that this weekend.
Sunday.
So we got to go. We got to empty that shop too, because our goal is to be out of there by the end of this month, because if we can be out of there by the end of this month, we can just use our security deposit, pay that last month's rent, and not have to give them any more money, which would be nice. I have to repair a window that got broken at the shop before the end of next week, I think.
I think we got 2 more weeks.
We got 11, 12 days.
We can do it.
So by the end of next week, it'd be good to we got to get all this done. Get the owners of the building to walk through and give us the final sign off and say, all right, you're good with your security deposit. And since we'll be out before the first of our last obligated month, we can tell them, keep our security deposit as our last month's rent, and they'll also have that last month of the building without us being there, but we'll have paid for it. So we had to pay a little bit to get out of our lease, unfortunately. Didn't anticipate, we anticipated having the shop here and doing a lot more with it, which we didn't, but no big deal. We learned. Lesson learned. Sometimes your lessons are expensive, and that was one of them, but that's alright. We'll move it along and not gonna worry about it.
The good thing is the blade customers are willing to come out to our house.
Yeah, so having a big, we're on agricultural property, and so we're zoned to be able to do a lot more than we're doing, which is the goal and why we're here and why we chose this property. Because as anybody knows who's followed us on Facebook especially, we've had a lot of problems with those sorts of things up in New Hampshire. Although we were within our right with what we were doing, it was kind of like we were doing about as much as we were allowed to do. So we were kind of pushing the limit what we were allowed to do in the neighborhood and where we were, which is fine. Like I said, we weren't doing anything wrong. It was just some new people who moved in from out of the area didn't like it, which was too bad for them, but then we decided to move out of there because it was too cold anyway. But when that So that being said, the reason when we looked at new property and bought property here, the goal was to try to find property that was going to be very secluded, where we could decide whether we have neighbors or not, and whether we're going to be close to the edge of the property or we're going to be out in the middle of the woods. And also property where there were very little restrictions on what we could do. So it's right in the zoning for the zone that we're in. It literally states like sawmill business, woodworking businesses, like auto repair. So there's quite a bit that is all included within the zoning that we're on here. Unlike our property we were on in New Hampshire, you had to get a building permit to build a shed. Where here we built a 1,200 square foot barn and there's no permit required. We poured a concrete pad and built that building. We could build 10 more if we want, and we're not required to have any sort of permits or inspections to do any of that, because it's farmland. It's all zoned agriculture, and it's the highest level of agriculture zoning in this area. So it pretty much opens you up to do just about anything you want, which is great for us to be living here, because we can, kind of free to do things the way we want to do them. We keep within all the rules of the zoning and permits and that sort of thing. The only things that we're required to have a permit for is to get that mobile home moved here and set up. But aside from that, that's it. Since we already have electric here, we could just run it to the house and it wouldn't be an issue. But since the cost of the materials are so expensive, we're not going to do that. We're going to build solar, and I don't need to do or ask anyone about that to do that here, because of the way we're zoned here. So it's nice. I'm not really sure why I was bringing all that up, but what was I talking about? Oh, so
the blade sharpening.
The blade sharpening and the whole business side of things. So we don't plan on doing a whole lot of business out of here anyways. Maybe at some point a farm store type thing, or who knows, but it ain't going to be anything like in the near future doing things like that. The blade sharpening is a good kind of side gig. I might have 1 or 2 people a week at most drop blades off. So and we don't have people visiting, we don't have company, things like that, where other people do. So we probably have less traffic coming into our property than most people, even with people dropping blades off. So it's not even going to be anything noticeable. And when you look at the end of our driveway, you can't even tell anyone lives there, because we're so far from the road. It's about a quarter mile from the road.
And as you come down the driveway, the dogs will bark at you, so nobody's gonna.
So it comes in and slopes down from the road probably about 500 feet before then it turns to the left and then goes down into like a little valley and then up over a hill. So it's not even a quarter mile straight shot where you could actually look out and see. It just, because of the nature of the driveway, it's long and curvy and up and down hills. You can't see. All you see is grass and rock and dirt from the road, which even that's you don't notice, because our driveway's right along the edge of the woods. So as people are driving up the road, the woods kind of block and kind of make the driveway kind of a blind driveway, so you can't even tell that there's a driveway there. A lot of people pull into our neighbor's driveway thinking that's our driveway, because our mailbox sits right between our driveway and theirs. And so a lot of people think that our mailbox is their mailbox. So it's nice, because people don't really know we're here. When we give people directions here, we have to kind of let them know what to look for, so we don't have too many people pulling into our neighbor's driveway, because I don't want that to become a problem. But we get along great with our neighbors. So yeah, people will be bringing blades down here, and I do get people asking me on occasion about lumber. We've only sold lumber like to 2 people, I think.
I think it's a bit more than that, but anyways.
Maybe 3. But not more than 3, guarantee that. And we've been here for 9 months. So we're not like selling a whole lot of lumber or anything, and it's not really even on purpose. It's just when I mill extra wood from logs that I'm milling for other projects, I post it up for sale if somebody wants it, and I still have some of it here. So I do have lumber that we do sell, but not a whole lot. And that's, again, another thing that's all included in the zoning, because agriculture around here, forestry is considered agriculture, sawmilling is considered forestry, and so that's where we're at with that. And like I said, our expenses are about half of what they were when we were in New Hampshire, just because we don't have a mortgage. The taxes are extremely cheap here, and we don't really go out a whole lot, so we don't spend a ton of money on gas. Yeah, and it'll be a lot better once we can get our wood stove for heat in the new house. Let's see. So I think that pretty much kind of covers what we're working on. I have videos that I got recorded. Grizz, are Democrats considered an endangered species in Tennessee? They are not. And there's no season, so it's pretty much open season all year. Yeah. I don't know if do they even have Democrats in Tennessee. I don't think that's a thing. If they are, they don't usually.
People don't tell people.
They don't probably advertise it because it's not. Yeah. Hey Floyd, good morning. Good morning from Florida. Send a little of that cool weather to me. Yeah, we could use a little of that Florida warmth right now.
Right.
Waking up and it's like 30 degrees this morning, which is really weird, strange for here, this location, but we got this weird little low pressure cool system that kind of pushed down here this week. But good thing is we'll be back up into the mid to upper 70s by Sunday and Monday, so that's going to be nice. So the last video I recorded, I believe, was us working on the mobile home to get it prepared to move. So I'll get that edited and put it out. I know there's another video I had recorded on, I think, prepping the site down there for the mobile home. There's not much to that. It was just me kind of doing some excavation, I think putting the water line in. So I'll have that, hopefully get that out soon. Cornbread says, yes, there is a good frost on the ground this morning, and it makes me wish I was back in Tampa. Well, it's a little cool here now too, but there are times in New Hampshire where by now we would already have snow on the ground. There's times where kids would be out trick-or-treating, and
in the snow.
There'd be 3 to 6 inches of snow already on the ground, and then the kids would be freezing cold or having to wear like their snow pants over their costumes.
Yeah, you always had to buy your costumes like one size bigger in New Hampshire, and you looked ridiculous at your school parties but you needed to be warm when you went out trick-or-treating.
Yeah, so here, being that, was it going to be in the 70s next week, so it'll be, almost Halloween. It'll be someone's birthday next week also. She'll be what? You'll be 25?
Yeah, that's perfect. Wish my body acted 25.
So 5 days from now, big birthday bash we're going to have here with us and the chickens and the pigs and
the kitties,
the cats and the dogs. I guess we could let the kids join in too. Cornbird says, I guess this is our first frost and it's a pretty good one. Yeah, unfortunately.
Where's is that? Who's?
Where are you located? I don't remember. I know he's not far.
From here? Or New Hampshire?
From here.
Oh.
I think, is it Georgia? Not Tennessee. I think it's Georgia or South Carolina. What was I going to say? Yeah, so, yeah. Either way, it's going to be a lot warmer and a lot more mild than in New Hampshire. Right now, strangely enough, it's not. It's actually warmer in New Hampshire today. Kind of weird, but after today, that's going to change and go the other direction.
Northwest Georgia.
Northwest Georgia, about 65 miles from Tennessee. Ah, gotcha. So it's, I would imagine it's warmer there this morning than even here. Or maybe about the same with the way this this cold system came in. It's pretty much kind of hitting everybody equally. Looks like throughout most of Tennessee and even Kentucky, Georgia, probably north parts of Alabama, I would imagine. But yeah, it's unusually cold for here. But this coming weekend, it'll be back up in the 70s. When in New Hampshire, it'll be in the low 50s. So, and they'll still be getting frosts at night and probably snow soon, where we'll still be having some nice mild weather, which will be really nice.
So it sounds like this. If it does snow here, it's like after it's in December or later.
We could get snow in November. It's not typical, yeah. Typically, it's from what talking to people and a little bit of research I did. It's typically you don't get snow until December, and then usually you don't get a whole lot of snow after February.
That's awesome.
Although we did have a little snow in March this year, but it was like a dusting of snow. For here, I think it was probably called a snowstorm, but yeah, for us it was a dusting, and by that afternoon, I think it was gone. So Cornbread says it's right over 32 right now, 32 degrees. Oh wow, it's actually colder there. It's a weird thing right now. It's like the further south you go, the colder it is, which is kind of like opposite land we're living in right now. Grizz says Saturday is only 99% chance of rain. That's good news. We still have a 1% chance good weather sometime during the day. Has it been raining a lot up there? I mean, I know it rains up there a lot anyway. They say from a lot of the forecasters who try to like forecast what the winters and stuff are going to be like, that they say this winter's going to be a little colder and wetter than usual in some areas. I guess this area, I don't know, a lot of people around here think it's going to be colder and wetter than normal, but from what I was reading online, there's a chance it could be a little bit colder in weather, but there's colder and wetter, but there's it's more likely to be north of here, and that actually south of here, so they're expecting it to be even a little bit warmer than normal.
Oh, warmer would be good.
That's not so bad. And even if it's a little bit colder and wetter than normal here, it's still going to be far warmer and drier than where we came from. So we're still going to be doing fine. And I guess it's Mother Nature's way of easing us into the climate in this area, cause
right.
It's a little hint of the Northeast sneaking in here. But yeah, no rain yet. No rain yet for Grizz up there in Oregon.
I'm on the Alabama line, and I can almost see Bobby.
Oh, I'm right on the Alabama line, and I can almost see Bobby's truck on blocks. Yeah, so that's pretty much everything we got going on. I know that's a lot. Grizz says if Bobby's truck rusts anymore, it will be see-through. That sounds like my trucks. All three of my trucks. You can see through the bed of the Dodge.
Yep.
You could see through the bed of the Ford. Actually, you could walk through the bed of the Ford.
That thing is ugly, the Ford, but it always will. It'll always start right up.
Here, I'll get that. We get a flying
something in here.
Stinger thingy flying around in here.
He's gonna go get his.
I'll let Stacey.
His tennis racket. It's one of those bug zapper things, but it works pretty well. So, what's on the agenda for you guys today? I don't think you're gonna get it. I don't even know where it is now.
Lost it.
Show him your bug zapper.
It's a weapon of mass destruction.
When
I think it's in the light.
No. Just come sit, and then when it comes out again, you can go get it. A lot of the moms had those bug zapper things when Emma was playing softball last year. Oh, there you go. It's kind of funny watching Michael. It looks like he's playing a baseball game.
There's already something on here.
Oh, he got something. It zapped.
No.
No?
No, that's from somebody else killed something and it's left it on there. Oof, that smells.
Cornbread said, I've seen a video where someone was dumb enough to put their tongue on it.
Oh! I've been tempted to touch it just to see what it feels like, but
It's got
I don't know
has a
where.
little bit of zap.
Have you touched it?
No, but
Oh.
can't imagine it would be that bad.
We could try it on one of the kids. Oh well. It's fine.
We gotta get going soon. It's getting daylight out.
So yeah. We
Wish the sun would come out.
started doing these, starting to want to do these because the when we get up in the morning and the kids get on the bus, it's a little dark to get outside and do anything. So figured it'd be fun to get on here and gives us something to do in the morning, gives us a chance to chat and drink our coffee and say hi and kind of update people on what we've been working on. Unfortunately, the last couple days it hasn't been much other than working on stuff for customers, but
Yeah, that's always a good thing.
Chris said try it on the cat.
Oh.
Where's Alf when you need him?
The cat would probably, yes, scratch you.
They should be kind of
Right.
waking up now, and
They've been kind of quiet this
they're in
morning.
anesthesia yesterday. They were pretty well out of it, but
Creamy was trying to get out of the kennel though. Creamsicle, he's a orange cat, and he's our best mouser.
yeah, those cats are awesome. They, I mentioned on the last live stream, one of them pretty much disassembled a squirrel, which was just,
It was disgusting.
it was pretty wild. Cornbread said that would be a good nickname for him, Elf. Yeah, those cats can tear things up. They killed a rat last week. They tore up a squirrel. They've killed a bunch of moles and voles,
Nice.
mice. And it sounds like they're pissing each other off in there now because they're hissing and growling, so they're definitely awake.
Put them outside, and they can go outside as soon as it. They said as soon as it warms up there.
Yeah, this afternoon when it gets up above 50, we can let them out, and then.
They're probably really hungry though. They
Yeah.
haven't eaten in a while.
So I guess we should probably jump off now because we're
We're
kind of just jumped on this morning and kind of rambled about random things. There isn't a whole lot really to update on. Just to kind of talk about things that we've been working on, which really hasn't been a lot here. But hopefully today and tomorrow we're going to do that a lot here, and then again Saturday and Sunday. So I'm going to try to not. I've been doing a little bit more work outside of here and for customers, but because of kind of the costs that we weren't expecting, so I've been trying to do a lot more work. But hopefully this week we'll be able to get back to a normal routine and be able to spend some more time here getting stuff done. So Chris said I just tried to switch to my Alpha account, but I must have deleted it. Oh. Cornbread says, okay, y'all have a great day and take care. Hey, you have a good day too. Stay warm. Hopefully it warms up for you down there also. We're gonna get outside. We're gonna go get the old boy, our new adult now,
Yes.
our young adult, to get out there and help us. He's been really great. So go up and get him. He'll come over, have some breakfast, and we're going to get outside and get some work done. Go buck up some wood and sharpen some blades and build a coop.
Yeah, I have to go somewhere at 9:30, but yeah.
All right. Thanks for everyone for stopping by. Saturday night, sometime around 8:30ish, we'll be back on. I'll schedule that so you'll know when it's going to happen, like I did with this. This time I actually was able to do it on the computer, which next time I'll try to have some stuff to share with you on the computer that I can share the screen and show you some pictures and stuff. I wasn't quite as well prepared this time, but by Saturday hopefully we will be. In between now and then, look out for some videos. Try to get those out to you soon.